makes life on Earth unique? Is it biodiversity, complex ecosystems, or the extreme natural events that contrast with the quiet balance of nature?
In the plant world, the same plant is considered a weed by some and desired by others.
The Earth is a spectacle of wonder.
It really is, Celeste. But the Earth has its problems, just like anything else.
So it's our job to make a difference.
To take a stand.
And to be a weed warrior.
A weed is a plant where you don't want it. If you have plants in your yard that you like and flowers and bushes, and then you get dandelions or mustard or other plants that you don't want there, those are weeds.
Invasive plants outcompete desirable plants and rapidly multiply and become difficult to control.
They can seriously upset an ecosystem's natural balance.
If you're used to, looking out at a landscape and liking it a certain way, and then having it being deteriorated and completely displaced by something that wasn't meant to be there, then that's a bad thing, right?
A noxious weed is an invasive plant that the state lists because it's extra destructive to our environment.
For those reasons, we try to keep them out of the environment and we try to keep them from, infesting the lands of Nevada.
It's really nice if you know how to identify your weeds. Some of them you can't identify it quickly. Some of the thistles, some of the different kind of noxious grasses or weeds. We have books and pamphlets. You can use the internet. So you don't have to remember it all. You can actually look it up.
Knowing what invasive weeds look like is the first step to making sure that they don't spread in our community.
Noxious weeds can negatively affect the places we love and use. They impact every part of the ecosystem, including wildlife habitats and the places we work and play.
Weeds grow in asphalt, in concrete, along the rivers, in storm drains. They grow everywhere. And if we let them just go, they're going to spread all over the place.
It can have huge implications both economically as well as ecologically.
Once these weeds take over, it's extremely difficult to get them taken out.
Perennial pepperweed can grow in the crack of concrete about this wide and still grow to a height of 3 to 4 feet.
They can take over full hillsides, acres and acres of land.
This is native to Nevada. It is sandberg bluegrass, and it's being outcompeted by all of this Medusa head because it comes in, takes over the resources, and then there's left no space for it to grow.
So this is what a Nevada ecosystem rangeland looks like with bunch grasses and shrubs. So this one's looking pretty good. And then this side with all the invasive grasses and the yellow star thistle is what we don't want.
Some noxious weeds, like salt cedar, use too much of the water from the ground and from the rivers and streams. One salt cedar plant can use 200 gallons of water in a day.
That's equivalent to 4 showers. Imagine how much water hundreds of salt cedar trees would use. They make a big difference in how much water there is flowing in the river and how much water we have to drink.
Invasive weeds are a problem in our community because they use more water than our native plants. They choke out our native plants, and they're a wildfire hazard.
Noxious weeds affect water because they can change the quantity and the quality of water. It will lead to erosion and sedimentation into the rivers, and then also they take away the native habitat where animals that rely on the rivers won't have places to live or eat.
While the effect of noxious weeds is most visible in our water systems, their effects on the land are equally disruptive. Soil is considered the skin of the earth and a major component of our ecosystem.
Much like a mosquito bite or sunburn might damage your skin, noxious weeds can damage the soil. Weeds can increase soil erosion or change the chemistry of the soil. For example, perennial pepperweed spreads its roots in the earth 10 feet deep and wide. This disrupts the soil and causes many stream banks to erode and crumble into the river, which leads to decreased clarity in the water and can negatively affect aquatic habitats.
Throughout our state, the effects of soil erosion in general, and the perennial pepperweed in particular, are visible in numerous places.
The terrible perennial pepperweed can also transport salt from deep in the soil to the surface, preventing other native plants from growing in that area. Weed-caused erosion and sediment impact the overall water quality, and that has a drastic impact on wildlife.
Noxious weeds all have specialized abilities to outcompete the plants that animals rely on for food and habitat. For example, birds living along the river, or the sage grouse that is in jeopardy of survival in Nevada.
You're going to impact the ability for things like mule deer to survive, or even, as small as like pygmy rabbits.
So we want to make sure that the trails, the parks, and the open space are clean and nice for the public. We also want to have the native plants and not the weeds in our parks and trails.
When noxious weeds infest an area, the diversity of plants decreases. Without their preferred source of food and shelter, wildlife such as birds must either find a new habitat or risk dying.
Would you eat this? Or sleep with this plant? Probably not. Birds and animals don't want to either. In many cases, we walk, bike, or drive by these noxious weeds every day, not thinking about the negative impact they have on everyone in our community.
There are many people whose job is to educate us about noxious weeds. Many others have jobs battling them in our neighborhoods and communities.
Billions of dollars being spent to control weeds every year.
But what can you do about it? For one, you can become a weed warrior.
Look for and report noxious weeds in your house, school, or anywhere in your community.
Avoid areas infested by weeds.
Always check your clothes, shoes, and tires for seeds and before they go into new areas.
Help control noxious weeds by pulling or digging them out when you see them.
Participate in a weed removal event.
You can become a weed warrior.
I'm a weed warrior, and Nevada needs you to be one too.
We need your help. Be a weed warrior.
Join the Weed Warriors.
Yes, we definitely would need the Weeds Warriors' help. If we all work together, we can bring it back to healthy ecosystems.
Weed Warrior!
And learn more about the specific noxious weeds near you and share what you've learned with others.
That's right, Austin. It's going to take all of us to make a big difference to protect our environment and to keep the weeds from spreading. Let's work together to keep the Truckee Meadows beautiful. See you later.
Bye, everyone.